spark, the attraction, the attachment stage. And what we're wanting to do is build that interdependent relationship. Now, what does that look like? And I want you to think about, honestly, where you have been in your last relationship, where you are now. Think about it seriously, where you were. So level 1 relationship, number 1. Number 1 is your needs are my needs. So to my wife, her needs are my needs. What that means is I'm much more interested in meeting her needs than meeting my needs. Much more interested. In fact, her needs are my needs. When I meet her needs, I'm happy. That's level 1 relationship. And you know what? Very few couples get there. I was sitting in a room with 1,700 people. And the seminar leader said, stand up if you're in this type of relationship. And I stood up. Because I feel like I am in that type of relationship. My wife stood up and then she looked at me questioningly. Should I stand up? Shouldn't I? Am I really there? And so I've strived ever since that time to make it so. And that was over 12 months ago. And I thought, what else can I do to make sure that I've got that type of relationship? And you know what? I've put a lot of effort and work into doing that. In making sure that her needs are my needs. I'm not in it for my needs to be filled. But I'm making her needs my needs. If she's happy, I'm happy. Sometimes you'll have a situation where you have one person in one category and another person in the other one. So this is a relationship filled with love and passion. In fact, just before coming down here, my wife was lying in bed. She didn't expect me home. She thought I was doing this seminar in the city. And I said, no, it's just down at Logan. And so I was just at home getting changed, getting dressed. And I dove on her. And I kissed her passionately a few times. And she started to giggle. You know that sort of giddy type of start to a relationship? You can have that all throughout your relationship. It doesn't need to end. If you treat your partner the same way you did at the beginning of the relationship never ends. What happens is we change. They change. The dynamics of the relationship changes. And when that change happens, we can be pulled apart. We can go into another level. And this is the second level. And I call this one transaction. What's a transaction? You walk into a shop, you buy something, you hand over money, they give you something. That's a transaction. And don't relationships sometimes do that? Relationships can become transactional. And what transaction does is it starts to rob love and rob passion. So level 2 is transactional. Level 3, this is where it gets really bad. Level 3 moves into selfishness. I'm looking after my needs. And when my needs aren't being met, I'm angry, I'm upset, and she's going to feel about it emotionally. In fact, I probably won't even cuddle her. I won't touch her, I won't kiss her, and I'll be angry. So what happens is we become selfish. And we start thinking about numero uno, number 1, me. Why aren't I getting this? Why aren't I being looked after? So this one is selfish. This is where the ego takes over. Number 4. Number 4, you're in a relationship. You're not happy. You're in there, you're hanging in there, but part of you is looking elsewhere and thinking, this really isn't a good relationship. I'm going elsewhere to get my needs met. And so this type of person in level 4 starts to look outside the relationship for their needs to be met. Start going elsewhere. Okay? So this one is in the relationship, but planning for an escape. Yep. So level 5 is single, but looking for love. So single, but looking for love. And the number 6 is single.
I'm happy to be single. Is that right?
And not looking for love.
Oh, okay.
So no, get away from me. I will never go back for more pain and punishment. Okay, so these are the 6 levels of relationship. Number 1, filled with love and passion. You do anything for them. They'll do anything for you. And that's what everybody wants. Everyone wants love, but most people settle for connection. Either in a transaction type relationship or in a selfish type relationship. Okay, and I know a lot of young people, we've got this whole digital media thing that's happening at the moment. We've got people that are addicted to phones. If you read the Courier Mail today, talking about phone addictions and tablet addictions and saying that people are spending 3 to 5 hours a day on their phone. Every time their phone goes beep, you get a dopamine hit, which is another one of those chemicals in the brain that makes you feel euphoric and good. And so people are becoming more addicted to their phone, their tablet, than ever before. And so this is creating problems when it comes to relationships and intimacy and feeling that love and passion and connection for another person. They're feeling it instead for a device. And it's sad. And it's going to cause more problems in relationships. It's going to cause more problems. In fact, marriages, it said in the Courier Mail, are breaking up because of this issue. Facebook, there was a study that came out of the UK that said the average person, average adult in, where was it, in the UK, under the age of 30 was spending up to 7 hours a day on Facebook. How do you have a life? How do you do exercise? Where do you fit in all these other things that you need to keep your body strong, healthy, vital? Who's done that? Who's had a selfish partner in a relationship? What's that like, dealing with that situation? And so let's have a bit of a discussion and start talking about that so we can, one, educate each other and learn from each other. Look at, well, where am I and where do I want to be and how much effort am I willing to put in. Because this is about making real change. You see, if somebody is, I mean, when a child is young, a child is egocentric, a child is self-centered. A child thinks about, number one, a baby cries every time they're hungry, every time the nappy's full. A young child, every time they're hungry, they'll let you know. You know, the child goes into the shop and says, I want an ice cream. And dad says, no, you're not having an ice cream. 5 or 10 minutes later, the kid's walking along with an ice cream, licking it. And he's happy, big smile on his face. Why? Because they're great salesmen. They don't stop. They'll run, jump on the ground, scream, yell, do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to get it. Because they're extremely selfish. Now, sometimes we do that emotionally or in other ways to our partner. We don't even realise it. And it's until we step back and have a look, or sometimes even get somebody else to have a look inside the relationship to find out actually what's going on. Back about, 18 months ago I started this meetup group. Before that, I was finding people to do seminars in a different way. I was making phone calls, I was visiting people, inviting them along. I was spending hours and hours and hours doing marketing to try and get people together, to try and let them know that, hey, I've got something that I want to share with you. And in doing all that and spending all that time, it took me, as you said, away from the family, away from the home. And my wife called me in and sat me down one day. And she had these cards done up. And one of the cards had Access World, and one of the cards had money on it, and one of the cards had her on it. And the other cards, and she said, now I want you to list these in order of preference. List these in order of importance to you. Right here, right now. Anyway, so I went through this process and I started listing, so I went from the least important, and I put these cards in order, and then we got up to the last 3, and I was ashamed to say that I put Rebecca in second place, and I put 2 things ahead of her. I'm ashamed to say it now because looking at it, I didn't even notice it was happening because it was that subtle. It was that incremental that I didn't notice the change. Because I was so busy helping people, I was so busy living my passion and my dream that I hadn't realised that I'd put her in second place. And there was 2 things ahead of her, and I hadn't realised it. And so in seeing it and the way she did it was brilliant. By the way, my wife is a brilliant woman, and she worked this out that it would really just hit me, and it did. It hit me in my mind and also in my heart, and I felt for it. And I thought, what's going to be the result if I continue on this path? And immediately I stopped. I stopped those extracurricular activities I was doing. I just stopped it. I had to, and I began focusing again on the home. And then I found out about Meetup, and I created that, and I said, let just that do its thing. I'm not going to worry anymore. I'm just going to go along and enjoy and make sure that my marriage is this. I'm going to focus my effort, my energy on this. And I decided to do it. And I did it. So what I did was I discovered the needs. Because we all have needs, right?